today we're actually going to be talking about the Daniel Penny and Jordan Neely case and how he was acquitted for the manslaughter charge. It was just completely dismissed. Okay, let's go ahead and look at Daniel Penny coming out of the courtroom, and then we're going to play some of the other videos that I have.
All right, a judge has gone ahead and dismissed the manslaughter charge in the Daniel Perry trial after the jury was hopelessly deadlocked on the issue, going back on forth on it for the better part of the afternoon. Ultimately, the judge dropping it, but of course, it's not over. There is one remaining, and that is criminally negligent behavior on the part of Penny during that whole incident. That, of course, is in the eye of the beholder, and 12 jurors who clearly couldn't agree on the more serious manslaughter charge. Anyone's guess how they will rule when they come back on this lesser charge. CB Cotton with more in New York. CB.
Hi, Neil. Well, what this essentially means at this point is that Daniel Penny's future still hangs in limbo for the time being until at least Monday, and we still don't know what Monday will bring, how jurors will deliberate and what they'll think about their next task at hand. We know that in terms of that top charge, second-degree manslaughter, they were deadlocked twice on that charge today, and now they're tasked on Monday with deliberating on criminally negligent homicide. It does come with a possible prison sentence of up to 4 years, but I want to read from New York penal law because this gets very interesting right here. There's an alternative definition for a Class E felony, which is what criminally negligent homicide is here in New York. It says, having regard to the nature and circumstance of the crime and to the history and character of the defendant, is of the opinion that a sentence of imprisonment is necessary, but it would be unduly harsh to impose an indeterminate or determinate sentence. The court may impose a definite sentence of imprisonment and fix a term of 1 year or less. So if the jury, that's a lot of legal speak right there, but if the jury were to decide to convict and find Daniel Penny guilty on criminally negligent homicide, the judge at that point could have some discretion with his sentencing for this charge. So there's a lot more to watch with this story. It's not done for now, but Penny's defense team may be breathing a small sigh of relief knowing that second-degree manslaughter is at least off the table.
All right, CB, thank you very much.
All right, so as we all know, or maybe you don't know all the way, so essentially what ended up happening was you had Daniel Penny, who happened to be on the subway in New York City, right? And then you had Jordan Neely, who is actually like a Michael Jackson impersonator, but he's mentally ill. He has extreme mental illness, and he also has a lengthy criminal record as well. So he was being erratic. He was pretty much harassing people, and he was making people feel extremely uncomfortable, getting in people's faces. One lady even noted that her and her child were on there, and he lunged towards them, and she was fearful of her life, that she even had to shield her baby, her kid, because she was like, okay, this dude may actually end up hurting me, okay, or anybody else here. He seen that, he stepped in, he had him in a chokehold for 6 minutes, and of course this man ended up dying from that. Penny is a former Marine as well, so there's that. He's 26 years old. All right, so the jury was like, okay, for the second-degree manslaughter charge, we are going to dismiss it simply because we just don't feel that that is appropriate. So for now, in his corner, it is a win, but it may have some criminally negligent claims, charges that may appear. So what I actually want to do is shift our focus over to a video where people were taking the streets to demand justice for Jordan Neely.
What's his name? Jordan Neely. Say his name. Jordan Neely. What's his name? Jordan Neely.
All right, so I kind of want to pause it right here. So they said no justice, no peace for these racist arse police. I don't believe this was a police brutality case. This was a former Marine that was, defending not only himself but other people because other people were feeling threatened by this mentally ill man that was on here who also has charges that were against him. Okay, so I don't get where this whole I don't get why we're bringing in. I get police brutality is a thing. Let's not make it seem like it's not. But in this particular case, I don't believe it was even brought up. I don't think it was even something that is even worth mentioning because it has nothing to do with this particular case.
No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. No justice, no peace. Fuck these racist ass police. People matter too.
Throughout our police forces and throughout now everyday civilians on the streets. Shame. 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 Daniel Penny should have been convicted for murder. That's right.
So, well, let me play it.
Right. Yeah. Speak. I'll say it one more time. Daniel Penny should have been convicted for murder. That's right. That's right.
So they're saying that he should have been convicted for murder. If anything, this would have been a manslaughter charge. It wouldn't have been a murder charge. It would have been a manslaughter charge. So right there, I guess I'm confused as to why that was even said.
Oh. Relly Rebel. Relly Rebel is a father, is a black man, is the founder of We the People, one of the most longest current standing mutual aid groups in New York City. Relly Rebel is now behind bars because he was out here using his First Amendment right to protest for Jordan Neely. Shame! 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 So I want us to come out here and not only remember and scream Jordan Neely's name while we're in these streets, but I want us to scream justice for Relly Rebel. Okay? Can we do that, community? Yeah. Yes.
Founder of Black Lives Matter Greater New York. I stand here heartbroken because I have to hug a father who knows that the murderer of his son will most likely go free, who has to look in the face of a jury that no matter the facts, no matter the expert witnesses, no matter the people yelling on that train that day to let Jordan go, you will kill him. They will not find a white man guilty of killing a black man in modern day America. This is no different than Jim Crow. This looks like a picture out of the picture book when you look at that anonymous jury. We have baby boomers who were there during Jim Crow on this jury. We have young people who are looking at Daniel Penny as a hero. And what America is a hero, a killer. He didn't give a crap about Jordan. The medical examiner said Jordan turned purple. Yes, black people can turn purple when they are denied oxygen. Every lab report showed he died of asphyxiation. And that doesn't matter because they want to spare a white man the penalty of his crimes. America has not changed, and I hate to say it, it may never change. And people who keep asking, are we going to riot? Are we going to protest? Is that what's needed? Do glass have to break? Do cars have to burn for a black man to get justice in America? We can't show up with peace. We can't show up with facts. We can't show up with evidence and witness after witness. You give us nothing. And then you ask us to love this country. America hates black people, and we see it from that jury pool.
A black man was lynched, and his name was Jordan Neely.
So with what she said, I agree with a ton of it. Yes, I'll keep it real. I don't have any hope that America's going to change in terms of its racial ideology and just overall racism, because in order for that to happen, there needs to be a complete overhaul, and that also includes property and money. If we're gonna keep it real, and that's not going to happen because we already know that certain people are not going to give it up. Okay, even if it wasn't rightfully theirs in the first place. All right, so that's one. And now also just behaviors and people just overall aren't going to want to change what they've been doing, whether they believe it to be racist or not. So from this article right here, all right, New York Post, it says that Neely was put into a chokehold for 6 minutes. All right. And Penny and other witnesses claimed that Neely said that he did not care if he went back to jail and threatened that he was willing to kill a MFer. That sounds like a threat to me. So granted, this guy who has military training, granted this guy, Penny, had him in the chokehold for 6 minutes. You also just threatened to, quote unquote, you know what, a MFer. To me, that sounds like a vicious threat, which obviously it was eradicated. So that's one of the things with me. And then I go and look at this. It says one woman on train said that Mr. Neely made lunging movements that scared her enough to shield her young child from him. So obviously these people were feeling threatened by this man. I don't know. Part of me is like on her side, but another part of me is not. And also another thing. This is the New York branch for Black Lives Matter. Where y'all been? Really, after George Floyd, which was, I was working from home. Was that 4 years ago? That was 20. I was working from home. I was in there. I think that was 2020, 2020, 2021. I want to say 2020. Because I was working in logistics. So I had to move drivers around different areas because of the protests that were going on in these different areas. And I think it was 2020, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, I'm like, okay, you guys were all through the news doing all this stuff, yada, yada, yada. And then y'all just disappeared. You had this one albino dude who was, I don't know what branch he was in, but he was in America. He was a albino dude and he was stealing money. Then you had the two founders who were Canadian women who were talking about police brutality in America. And then two black chicks. And then they went and took the money and bought mansions. I'm like, well, I guess I'm confused because when you really look at a lot of these black leaders and these black organizations and NAACP and all these other people, what are y'all really doing? Because I'm not seeing y'all really getting people jobs. I'm not really seeing y'all do any real movements. It's just talk, talk, talk. Y'all got the resources. I don't. Y'all got the resources. What are we doing? I see y'all pop up. Oh man, look at what happened. Police brutality. This is not a police brutality case. Well, white dude with black man. We got to talk about it. Where were y'all at when we talking about black on black crime? And I don't want to be one of those people. I really don't want to be one of those people. But I get tired of turning on the news, going on YouTube because that's where I watch the news. I get tired of going on there. I get tired of going on Instagram, Twitter, whatever. And I'm seeing another black person kill another black person. I don't want to be one of those people, but I never see those kind of issues really being addressed. I seen one police chief. It was either in Georgia or Florida. I can't remember which one. And he was like, yo, what are we doing about this? So I'm like, I haven't really seen y'all come out when it's black and white. Ooh, yeah. But when it's anything else, y'all like, well, people gonna do what they're gonna do.
Because to be real, they didn't even try. Once the lesser charge was removed, they came back an hour later and said it was deadlock. Less than an hour and 20 minutes later, they said not guilty. These wonderful white people, I hope they celebrate their Christmas while the Neely family is praying and asking God for comfort. Goddamn them and goddamn America.
So of course she's upset because of the verdict. She's upset because he got acquitted for it. But that's the thing that gets me. I get the frustration, but this to me is a different kind of case. And like I've said before, I'm one to call it out. If it walk like that, call it okay. I'm going to call it out. But to me, I don't know. This case is different. It's real different to me because, and I don't even want to really bring it up in that regard, but you know how when people talk about like, man, where the real men at, and how come, where's the protection, and yada yada. But then when someone protects you, I guess it got to be someone of your own race protecting you from someone of a different race for it to matter. Because this guy was protecting these people who felt threatened. I mean, the dude even said, and other witnesses have said, that unless these are all lies, then I'll renege everything I say. But in that article right here, where it said Penny and other witnesses claimed that Neely said he did not care if he went back to jail because he has a lengthy record, and threatened that he was willing to kill a MFer. That sounds like a threat to me. So when this guy goes and says, okay, well, I'm a end the threat, then somehow it's a problem only because he's black. Now, if these were two white dudes or two black dudes, would this be the same scenario? Would we be seeing it how we're seeing it? Would Black Lives Matter be popping up and, saying that, okay, yo, this ain't right? Because Black Lives Matter doesn't mean that black people are significantly more important than anybody else. It just means that we are as important as everybody else. That's what that means. So would you guys also pop up for something like this? Obviously, you ain't got to go as hard, but would you pop up for something like this if it was two black dudes or if it was two white dudes? Because then you'll bring it back to, okay, and I remember in a case like XYZ, or I remember in a case like George Floyd, or I remember in a case like insert whatever the case may be. Would you bring it up in the same way? Oop, I got another video. So this is going to be the last video I play. And let me just make it big enough. This is off of Instagram. As you see, I love this page. And it says right here, it said Jordan Neely's family says racism is alive after the judge dismissed the second-degree manslaughter charge. Let's go ahead and just play it.
Racism is still alive and kicking in America. There's no other way to view this. Everyone has looked at the case, and those among you who say that Daniel Penny is innocent have racism and bias in your heart. If you look at the facts of this case, then you understand that Daniel Penny is guilty. But today, white supremacy got another victory. Today, the KKK, the Klansmen, the evil in America got another victory. They got that top charge dismissed. America shall continue to America and shall continue to place second-class status on black people. Racism is still alive and kicking in America. There's no other way to view this. Everyone has looked at the case, and those among you who say that Daniel Penny is innocent have racism and bias in your heart.
Okay, so real quick, what racism and bias in my heart do I have? I guess I'm a little confused by that because I'm sorry, I'm thirsty and I need my tea. But I guess I'm a little confused by that because he said they all have racism and bias in your heart. Like I said, this to me doesn't appear to be a case that is necessarily geared around the guy's race. And I'm talking about either you're black or you're white in terms of Jordan or in terms of Daniel, okay? Because if you're, like I said, you're harassing people, you're making people feel threatened on here, you're saying, I don't mind killing the MFer. That's a threat. I mean, come on. And if y'all care so much, and this goes for anybody, this goes for the system as well, because people are like, oh, well, y'all make it seem like y'all don't care about homeless people. There's only so much an average person can do. I pay my taxes. Y'all take my tax money and y'all send it over to Israel. You take my tax money, you put it in your pockets. Take my tax money, put it in Wall Street, you gamble with it. I pay into Social Security, and that's not even guaranteed anymore. I pay my taxes, and it goes to Ukraine. I can't help it that you don't put my money where it's supposed to be, which is mental health services, because of the deinstitutionalization that I believe happened with Ronald Reagan. Anyways, I can't help that. So at the end of the day, I understand, yes, you're mentally ill, but at the end of the day, you cannot just be going around terrorizing people and everyone's just supposed to be walking on eggshells because, oh man, we got a mentally ill person around. I guess we're just supposed to, avoid them at all costs. And I mean, if they do something, let's just run away or let's just feel so cowardly. And what the heck what do you expect in regards to this? It's not our fault that this guy was mentally ill and in and out of jail. In my opinion, he should have been institutionalized. If he was institutionalized, he would still be alive today. But he was on the street with regular people, harassing and threatening them. I don't see how this is necessarily about race. But let's continue it.
If you look at the facts of this case, then you understand that Daniel Penny is guilty. But today, white supremacy got another victory. Today, the KKK, the Klansmen, the evil in America got another victory. They got that top charge dismissed. America shall continue to America and shall continue to place second-class status on black people.
I agree with that. I will agree that yes, we are considered to be second-class citizens. America is a racist country. Let's just keep it real. And it's built on cheap labor, the cheaper free labor, as we all know. That's how my black arts got here. Okay. But at the end of the day, like I said, I just don't feel like that's what this is. But let me know what y'all think about said story down below.